Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022, and this is the first hearing of the month for the City of Tempe hearing officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I'm the hearing officer, and I'll be handling today's agenda. I'm going to read something into the record, and then I'm going to go ahead and just go right through our cases this afternoon. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the City of Tempe. Code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or other responsible person to remediate a code violation, or authorize the city to abate the condition giving rise to that violation. The cost of the abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and may be collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 4 items. A previous version of the agenda indicated that we have had 6 items, but agenda items 3 and 4 have been brought into compliance with the city code, so they have been withdrawn by code compliance staff. That leaves us with a set of minutes from August 16th and 3 property abatements. Any property owner who's aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on September 20th, 2022. Appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they may also be appealed to the Superior Court. The property owner has 14 days to either file an appeal or bring their property into code compliance. If neither of these things happen within this 14-day window, the property will be abated by the city. Just to make a couple of introductions this afternoon, joining me from Community Development are Cassidy Hernandez and Drew Yoakum. Thank you guys for your help today. So that brings us to our agenda. As I mentioned, we have a set of minutes from August 16th, 2022. I had a chance to review those minutes in the draft that they were sent to me last week, and I believe that they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and approve the minutes from August 16th, 2022. That brings us to agenda item number 2. This is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Bay property. This property is located at 1509 East Del Rio Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Melissa Ensing. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Melissa Ensing. I'm a Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Tempe Code Compliance Division. I'm here this evening to request a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1509 East Del Rio Drive for deteriorated landscape and trash and debris. This case was initiated on January 11, 2022 for an unregistered vehicle that was lawn parking. I have sent 5 notices to the property owner along with the notice posted to the property. I've also had contact with the owner in person. I added new violations to the complaint and gave the owner additional time to comply. I issued 3 citations for this property for deteriorated landscape, trash and debris, deteriorated paint, deteriorated roof, and broken windows. The owner failed to appear for all 3 civil citations. All 3 have gone to collections. This complaint has also gone to the prosecutor's office for criminal charges. At this time, I'd like to present photos taken today of the existing violations.
Thank you.
This way? Sorry. Okay, this is the front yard. It's showing the grass and weeds growing throughout, the gravel landscaping, along with some landscape debris
Mhm.
along the bush. Alright. This is on the east side of the property. There's some tall, overgrown grass and weeds along with some trash on the weeds. Alright. This is also the front yard. As you walk up to the front door, you can see the grass and weeds, and there's some landscape debris along with a piece of board. I'm not quite sure what that's for, but it's by the door. And then one more, I have a picture of the trash and debris in the driveway. Originally, it was miscellaneous landscaping debris, but now it's just miscellaneous items from the house. It looks like he may have had a garage sale and then never removed the items.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like it's organized for a yard sale. I'm having a hard time understanding this property. Like, is it a construction site? Was it subject to a fire? Like, it has no roof. I mean, no roofing shingles. So, are they in the process of fixing it up, or?
There was, from what I've heard, there was a fire inside, and then the owner has been trying to renovate it, but then it ended up being deemed not livable by the fire department. So I'm not quite sure on that process.
Right.
The prosecutor's office is taking the steps for that part, but
Okay.
as of right now, he's still trying to fix it up, but he's just not, like, he does for a little bit and then he stops and it seems to get worse.
He's not doing it in an
Yeah.
orderly fashion.
Right.
Yeah. And within this abatement, we're not taking steps to remediate the structure. It would be the property around it, correct?
Right, it's the deteriorated landscaping and the trash and debris.
Okay. And when you had the communication with the property owner, what did he say?
He explained what was going on. He was real friendly about it and told me his plans, and he understood. And he's like, well, I'll have all of it cleaned up and, removed and corrected by today.
Right.
And then it just hasn't improved at all.
Okay, so this sounds like maybe the abatement might make his life a little bit easier rather than trying to.
I'm thinking so. It might help him.
Yeah. So, okay, are you seeking 180 days?
Yes, Madam Hearing Officer.
You are. Okay, thank you. Mr. Yocum, do we have anyone on the line wanting to speak on this agenda item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer.
Okay, thank you. And just for the record, there's no one here in the chamber other than City of Tempe staff, so there's no one here wanting to speak on this agenda item. Well, given the state of the property, I wish we could do something about the structure, but I understand that goes through different channels. But I agree with your assessment that it needs to be cleaned up, and it sounds like in this instance, we might be helping the property owner in this regard. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement requested in CE 220242. Thank you.
Thank you.
As I mentioned previously, agenda items 3 and 4 have been brought into code compliance, so that brings us to agenda item number 5. This is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Gwynn property located at 1138 East Balboa Drive here in the city of Tempe. The applicant is code compliance for the city, represented today by Michelle Van Etten. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
As you mentioned, my name is Michelle Van Etten. I'm a code inspector here with the City of Tempe. I'm here today to request a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1138 East Balboa Drive, Tempe, Arizona 85282. The case was initiated on May 6th of 2022 via a complaint for a green swimming pool and deteriorated landscape. I found both of those to be the case and also found a large amount of construction debris in the driveway. So I mailed a notice to the listed homeowner. I re-inspected on May 23rd, 2022, and found that the violations had not been addressed, and I sent a second and final notice. I then re-inspected the property on June 6th, found everything to be the exact same condition. I put a pink placard on the door asking for compliance or contact in order to avoid a citation by June 8th. As of June 10th, 2022, I didn't receive a phone call. I went back out and I found that nothing had been corrected. I issued a citation. It was never paid, nor was it contested. I've had no contact from the homeowner.
Okay.
I did go out this morning. I have pictures that I'd like to show you if I may. The front yard, the grass and weeds were cut in the front yard, and all of the trash, and I initially thought maybe a neighbor got tired of looking at it. However, the trash and debris items, which were big, bulky pieces of cement and such, those were missing as well. I attempted contact at the door, though, and there was no one there. In the rear yard, though,
Oh, boy.
this is just kind of an overview. I know it's not very close, just shows the pool. You cannot even come close to seeing the bottom. Bunch of grass and weeds surrounding. This is the same, but a little closer, just so you could see the water a little bit better. I had a hard time with my pictures. There was a cable truck out front, and I had to stand on his bumper. This is the north side of the backyard, just showing the weeds. And just again, weeds around the swimming pool, the pool itself. Can't see the bottom. And this is a 6-foot wall, and these weeds are right up against it.
Wow.
So some of the weeds in the backyard are pushing 6 feet.
So, but the front does.
The front was taken care of.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll be on a roll. Maybe within the next couple of weeks, they'll continue to clean things up. I have to ask if there's anyone on the line wanting to speak on this item.
No, Madam Hearing Officer.
There isn't, and again, I'll make note of the fact that there's no one here in the audience wanting to speak on this agenda item. Well, given the state of that pool, I mean, it really, really needs to be cleaned up, and the weeds need to be taken down. Just the whole thing needs to be brought into code compliance. So I agree with your assessment, and I'm going to approve the 180-day abatement request that you're requesting in application CE 222808. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer.
And this brings us to agenda item number 6. This is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the TL Kickstop property located at 3233 South 48th Street. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented this afternoon by Code Inspector Michael Glab. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Michael Glab. I'm Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Tempe's Code Compliance Division. I'm here this evening in reference to request an open abatement in 180 days for the property located at 3233 South 48th Street here in Tempe, 85282. This case was initiated specific to a charge of junk and debris on June 3rd of 2022. Since then, 2 complaints have come into my office related to this property, and I've had no face-to-face or verbal contact with anyone associated with management of the property.
Have we seen this property before? No, a number of times, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have. We've abated it numerous times for graffiti. And since June of this year, though, it has become a hot spot for transient activity and junk and debris, which was not previously the case on any of those prior abatements. On June 3rd, I did note that there was junk and debris present. I was in contact with members of the police department as well as Hope Care 7. My understanding is they were going to attempt to work with the individual residing on the site. On July 14th of 2022, I returned to the site, observed that a violation of city code related to junk and debris remained. I was once again in contact with members of the police department and Hope Care 7 related to a possible transient living on the site. On July 21st of 2022, my office received the first complaint specific to the junk and debris. On July 28th of 2022, I visited the property and observed a violation of city code related to the junk and debris remaining on the property. I was advised that Tempe PD and Hope Care 7 had worked on relocating parties from the site. Unfortunately, once somebody vacated the site, somebody else came in and took over occupancy. Notice was mailed to the property owner at that time as the debris came in with a new party, and it wasn't successfully removed with the Hope 7 and police department intervention over the course of the 2 prior months. On August 1st of 2022, my office received a second complaint for the property specific to the junk and debris. On August 5th of 2022, I visited the site, confirmed the violation of city code related to junk and debris remained present, and then I submitted the abatement packet for tonight's hearing agenda. Excuse me. At this time, I'd like to now present photos taken today of the violations as they are on the site.
Okay, because I have the picture in my packet. Not sure when it's dated, but,
Excuse me. Yes, these ones are dated today
okay.
and dated at the top there. But this is along the east property line. There's a block wall that separates this property from a neighboring property. And the parties that residing on the site have left all sorts of debris along that east wall. And this is a photograph taken of the north side of the building. It's a former gas station, but you can see that the roadway of Southern Avenue is visible in the photo. It would run this direction, so this debris would be visible from the street itself.
Mhm.
And this is a dumpster enclosure that is located on the southeast corner of the site.
So has someone like kind of crafted a makeshift dwelling next to that storage unit or whatever it is?
That's correct, Madam Hearing Officer. They've enclosed the back with some type of temporary fencing, put some type of roofing over the enclosure. You can see a bicycle up here at the top, shopping cart, and then there's debris over on this side here, wood pallets. Excuse me. So in the past, they have resided inside the enclosure.
High marks for creativity, I suppose, but.
Correct. So as I said before, I'm seeking a 180-day open abatement window for this site. We have had to previously address graffiti on numerous occasions. There's no history of the ownership wanting to take responsibility or maintenance for this site. So in light of the one notice and the frequent calls that the police department are getting, Hope and Care 7, I'm seeking abatement tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yoakum, anyone on the line to talk about this item?
No, Madam Hearing Officer.
Okay, thank you. And again, no one is here in the chamber wanting to talk. Well, yeah, I think this one's really urgent, needing to clean up the whole site so that we can remove the materials that they're using to create these makeshift dwellings. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement request contained in CM 211465. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer.
That concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Mr. Yoakum, any announcements?
Yes, just the one. The next scheduled hearing officer meeting is set for September 20th at 5 p.m. That will be held here at the Tempe City Council chambers as well as live on Tempe 11.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for bringing the cases this afternoon. We're adjourned.